Welcome to this week's episode of Coffee with the Journalist, brought to you by One Pitch. The guests on our show include some of the most notable journalists from the top US-based publications who cover topics including technology, lifestyle and culture, health, science, consumer products, business news, and beauty and wellness. We discuss their role, the types of stories they cover, what their inbox looks like, and how they connect with sources. Check out our new video series featuring guests from the podcast, including today's guest. Head to onepitch.co and look for the video page to learn more. On today's episode, we sit down with Emma Sandler, Senior Beauty and Wellness Reporter for Glossy. For those that don't know, Glossy is a publication from Digiday Media that covers how technology is modernizing the fashion and luxury industries. At Glossy, Emma covers the shifts in power between legacy companies like L'Oreal USA and indie brands like Glossier and Huda Beauty. During the episode, Emma gives us a quick overview of Glossy's coverage, her 3 types of story pillars, what she's learned from quarantine, and lots more. Let's dive into the episode with Emma now.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Beck Bamberger, the founder of BAM, and this is Coffee with the Journalist. I almost forgot. Is it drinks with the journalists, water with the journalists? No, it's coffee with the journalists. I'm also the founder of One Pitch, which created, of course, this show and the platform to help pitches get to the right journalists. So that's why we are here. And we're here today because we always talk to a fabulous journalist and get to know what they like, what they don't like, all the good, juicy details, plus also the stories they like to tell and even like to watch, consume, etc. With us today, how exciting, coming live from New York, Brooklyn specifically, Emma Sandler, who is the Senior Beauty and Wellness Reporter at Glossy. Hi, Emma.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. I'm just excited to chat with you. We had a nice chat about Gen Z yellow already and the pitch tips and the stories and stuff. So we're having a great time already. But first, for everybody, tell us what Glossy is as a publication and what it is also not for everybody listening.
Yes, so Glossy is a digital business publication focused on beauty and fashion. The way we approach our publication and our stories is to ask ourselves, what is the shift in power taking place within the industry? For example, indie brands like Glossier versus a heritage brand like Estee Lauder or L'Oreal, or even innovative technologies like live stream shopping and augmented reality and what that's doing to upend the retail experience.
Mm-hmm. It's a great publication, by the way. Do you have, would you even say, general consumers looking at Glossy on a consistent basis?
That is something we are working towards.
Okay.
We launched in the spring of this year a section or vertical called Glossy Pop, and that's meant to be our consumer-facing vertical. Got
it. Which is right in the main menu section for anybody going on the website right now. Looking good. Including, I was looking at this piece, 7 new beauty brands to know for November. There's a lot of good stuff in here. I love it. Emma, what is your inbox like?
My inbox at the moment, because I am a perpetually inbox zero person, I currently have 7 unread messages, but my inbox has roughly 8,400 emails in it. I save emails that I feel are relevant so I can better find and search them later. So in terms of the unread emails I have, most of which are irrelevant to me, I'll be honest. I have a pitch about eyewear. I have something about the actress January Jones. I have a product launch for a manicure top coat that will give you a matte finish. I have something launching on Amazon. I have a holiday gift set. And then I have something from the cosmetics beauty group called CEW Beauty.
Now, these are all the pitches that you're looking at? Clarify.
So some of them are pitches, like to the new product, potentially the January Jones thing, the gift set. But like I said, most of these are relevant to me because of what Glossy covers.
Yes, got you. Are there quite a few irrelevant pitches you get?
Oh, absolutely. But I will also say that depending on the product that's being pitched to me, it might not be worth a story in and of itself, but if I end up seeing a lot of that similar product coming through, or maybe it's a new category for a brand, or it's a new approach to a category that a brand is doing, then I will save it and I will wait for the other shoe to drop and see if a trend comes through.
Okay. It's common, we've heard on the show, that journalists do what you're describing of kind of, okay, I'm keeping stuff coming along. I haven't deleted it, but I haven't responded. And then you get a few other pitches that are in that same genre, maybe in the month or the week. And you go, wait a second, I think this is now a thing. It's a trend. It's a piece. So it sounds like you do that too.
Yes, absolutely. I have done my fair share of trend stories, but it's always about understanding if this trend that's happening signifies something larger. Three brands coming out with a matte nail polish doesn't really appeal or make sense for me, but maybe it is, why is everyone suddenly caring about, I'm trying to think of a good example and I can't at the moment.
Yeah, but that's okay. Like, why everyone is looking for matte, maybe. Or the yellow, as we talked about. For if it's a Gen Z thing, it's like, is yellow the new everything?
Right.
Yeah.
That's a really good example. Maybe it's something where I've started to notice a packaging trend where, everyone turned to sustainability in the last year. So that was something I certainly covered over time.
Very true. What then, Emma, gets your biggest attention for a pitch? Is it the subject line, or do you open every single email, or is it the shortness, the brevity of the pitch? Is it new, distinct, interesting, on point? They spell your name right? I don't know. What would you say?
It's definitely the subject line when it has something that has a eye-catching phrase like, launching X or exclusive Y, or, what are your, even if it's from someone I know and it says, hey, what are your thoughts on this? That's something where I'm like, okay, maybe I should actually look at this. If it is something like the January Jones swears by allies of skin for a glowing complexion, I don't care. No offense to January Jones.
Yeah, exactly. So then for pieces like, I'm looking at all your pieces that you've written recently. You have one about a particular VC who's saying, oh, direct to consumer, oh, it's dead, or you're stuck in everything. You have Love, Beauty, and Planet. You're asking, they're talking about complete your holiday shopping by December 4th because they can't get it shipped to you. The various stories you cover for the industry, how do you get the inspiration for the stories you do?
Oh, that's an excellent question. I think there's three main ways that I end up getting my stories. There is the traditional pitch. I've built over almost 4 years at Glossy a decent network of executive publicists, venture capitalists, other people in finance who come to me and understand what I'm looking for. Then there's also times when a person, usually a publicist, says, oh, hey, this brand is doing this or this brand is launching that. And I say, okay, I don't really care that they're doing this one thing, but this brand actually interests me, or this is part of a trend I'm seeing. What else can we explore here? And then the other, probably third pillar of stories I find is really from just paying attention and really being curious about what's going on in the industry, from either a product trend that I'm seeing or a strategy trend that I'm seeing from companies or from investors.
And are you just like walking around, walking the streets of Soho? Are you scrolling through Instagram? Are you looking at TikTok? Like where does that then come to you? Just curious.
Also a good question. I'm probably not walking around Soho as much as I was pre-pandemic, but I will say that I read a lot. I read Glossy's competing publications, but I also read more than just what's going on in the beauty world. I also read about what's happening in technology, what's happening in venture capital and private equity in the public markets, what I'm reading, just general business news. I love Bloomberg, I love Fast Company. Sometimes they have things that straddle more of a cultural story than just a straightforward business story.
Okay. I'm hearing a lot of reading, lots of reading, consuming. Do you ever read for fun?
Oh, yes, of course. I
Oh,
tend
good.
to lean towards biographies and commodity histories. Again, I think it goes back to
Commodity
this.
history.
Yeah, it's a biography of stuff or places. So,
Oh,
I've
okay.
read.
I haven't heard of that categorization. Interesting.
Yes,
Commodity
yes.
histories.
It's
Okay.
if you ever wonder, I mean, hey, what's the history behind the pencil or what's the history of the home computer? Like there's stuff out there about that and
Oh,
it's incredible.
oh, I love it. Okay. Well, we're going to get to favorite books and what you're listening to or reading or whatever a little bit later, but why don't we go into our fill in the blank section here? So I have a couple phrases and you fill it in from here, Emma. Does that sound good?
Sure.
Let's do it. My favorite sources always.
My favorite sources always have distinct viewpoints.
And distinct meaning.
Something refreshing, something that is unique to their position.
Controversial, perhaps.
It can be, but it's not a requirement.
Okay, that's good. The most annoying sources always.
The most annoying sources use phrases like surprise and delight or
Oh,
say other right things
in their pitch?
in their pitch or in their conversation.
Like how? Like, Emma, I'd like to surprise and delight you with this fascinating new shampoo.
No, it's more
Oh,
like, tell me how it is that you worked on this kind of product collaboration. Like, what is it you're trying
oh,
to do here? And they say, well, we're always just trying to surprise and delight our customers.
oh,
It always irks me because it's not a real answer and it doesn't
yeah,
carry any weight to it.
yeah. I'm glad I clarified that because I would be curious. Okay, so no surprise and delighted our customers. Got it.
None of that. No, no,
No,
thank you.
you'll get a response from me if.
If I know you,
Okay. What if I don't know you? Can I meet you? What can I do?
I think the best way to get to know me is through that professional capacity. Bring
Mm-hmm.
me stories, bring me interesting people, be of help and usefulness, and then we can get to know each other more.
Okay, good tip there. You'll never get a response from me if I don't know you.
If it's clear that you were just doing a blast email to anyone and everyone in your inbox.
Yeah. Or the favorite as referenced on this show often, dear blank. Yeah, it's not good.
Exactly. The number of times I have seen that.
Yeah. Let's see. It would be a huge help if sources.
Shared more numbers. That's always
Mm,
something I love to hear. Our readers love to hear. I know it can be a bit tricky
yeah.
sometimes because everything's proprietary or trade secrets or what have you. But at the end of the day, it also validates what you're trying to tell me about how amazing your brand, product, or company is.
Today's interview will continue after this brief message brought to you by OnePitch. Are you curious to see the unique ways OnePitch helps PR professionals and marketers pitch journalists? Head to onepitch.co to learn about our new OnePitch score and see how easy it is to find the right journalist to pitch your news to. Sign up for your free account today. Now, back to today's episode.
The best compliment I received about my work was.
I will say that when I'm speaking with someone and I ask them a question and they say, oh, that's a good question, I always have a sort of beaming feeling during that moment. So I
Mm-hmm.
would say that because it never gets old.
Oh, that's good. My favorite stories to write are.
Ooh, oh, there's so many. I love writing stories when I'm the first to really follow something that no other reporter or no other publication has done yet.
So you're the first and hopefully the only. No, actually, you
No,
don't want to be
no,
set the
I'm
trend.
not necessarily the only because
Yeah.
it's nice to see when others a month later I'm like, okay, I see you there, other reporter, and I did that
Mm-hmm.
story
I
before.
already broke that one. Yep. Yep.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. My favorite Sunday is.
Oh, my favorite Sunday. Well, and an ice cream sundae.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that. No one's given that response yet. Okay, that's perfect. Unless you want to do like the Sunday as the day, but we'll take that too. That's pretty cool.
I'm sticking with my answer.
I love it. My favorite hobby is?
Ooh, my favorite hobby. At the moment, baking, but I will say that if I had a little bit more time and maybe a little bit more space physically in my apartment, I would take up millinery. I love hats.
Hats.
Mm-hmm.
My God, who makes hats? I mean, besides people on
English.
Etsy, but I do love a damn good hat. Yeah, the English. Yeah. Okay. Oh, wow. That's at first. I've never heard that before on this show. That's amazing. Okay. The last song I listened to was?
Ooh, I have been lately very into the Zed remix of Do It To It, which you may have heard on TikTok because they use a snippet from the Squid Games theme song to build into an existing song called Do It To It.
Okay.
I heard that and I was like, okay, this is a banger.
Oh, wow. Okay. I just pulled it up on YouTube. Okay. I'm going to have to listen to that. Would I know it? I watched Squid Game. Would I know it?
You probably would. I mean, if you listen to the song and then you go on TikTok, you'll see it all over or hear it all over TikTok.
Okay. All right. The best part of winter is?
Après ski.
Yes. I'm all about that.
I've got my après ski sweater. That's like perfect. Too bad this is a podcast. Otherwise, I'd show it to you.
Oh, dang. What does it look like? Describe.
It is kind of boxy. It is, for the most part, white. It's a chunky turtleneck and very soft. And it has a sort of almost black checkered design on it. It's the kind of thing that I imagine myself wearing that with some 1960s cigarette pants, black, of course, and standing in front of the fireplace with my imaginary husband in Stade.
Yes, I love it. Emma, clearly you work in fashion. I love it. Okay, 2022 is going to be, oh boy.
Oh God, I think everyone stopped making predictions at the beginning of 2020. We've learned our lessons as a society.
Yeah.
2022 for me, both personally and professionally, will be busy. There's a lot of things to cover, a lot of movements to make professionally, and a lot of personal events happening. My sister's getting married, so I'm a maid of honor.
Oh, yay. Yay, sister. Okay, well, speaking of, quarantine has taught me.
Quarantine taught me that we are a lot more capable of doing things than we initially thought. I think we're so used to, as individuals or as a society, that there are certain things that you need to have, from fancy tech or gadgetry, or I need to have that Equinox membership. And it's no, you don't. You can get a yoga mat and some water bottles, and that's your workout routine.
Yep. There you go. I agree with that. Good answer. Haven't heard that yet. That's good. Okay. Now, Emma, what are you reading, watching, consuming, listening to? We'll take it all. Let's get into this genre that you just mentioned of history.
Yes.
Please tell us. You got any books on this?
I'm currently reading a proper biography about Julius Caesar.
What's it called?
It is just called Caesar.
Oh, it's just called Caesar. Okay, simple enough. Okay.
It's a book that my grandfather had owned, and every book he read, he would mark on the 100th page his name.
That's so neat.
I haven't gotten to the 100th page yet, but I'm looking forward to that and sort of seeing his name written there. That'll be a nice.
Oh, that's so fun. Wait, so do you get these books from your grandfather?
So he passed away at the end of 2020, not from COVID. He was a ripe old age of 96 years old.
Okay.
And so he had a very extensive library. So I prior to him passing away, he said, go through the library, take anything and everything you want. So I took quite a few books, including that one.
Oh, that's lovely. How
Yeah.
cool is that? How do you know about the 100-page thing? Did he tell you?
That was something my mother had mentioned many, many years ago. And it was just something I kind of remembered. And so I've seen in his other books that he has done that.
That is lovely. What a fun little cookie.
Yes.
Little sprinkle.
Yeah. My favorite book is And the Band Played On by Randy Shoaf. That is not necessarily a commodity history in the sense that it is about stuff, but it is about, I would describe it as the biography of a disease, which in this case is HIV/AIDS.
Yeah.
And it was so well reported and so extensive. And it honestly just blew my mind reading that book. And it's a big
it's huge.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it on Audible, 31 hours here. Wow. But amazing ratings and reviews. Wow.
Incredible. My favorite book immediately.
Really? Okay. I'm adding it to my wish list.
Yeah. I will say also Malcolm Gladwell.
Oh yeah.
I would fit that within the kind of commodity histories because the way he writes about things, a lot of, exploration of why is there only one kind of ketchup but 30 different kinds of mustards. I think that's a great exploration of the world we live in.
True. Good point. Huh. Yeah, he's known for Blink, The Tipping Point, David and Goliath, a lot of great ones. But he's been doing more and more history, if I recall.
Yes,
I think he's a podcast now.
He does, but I haven't listened to it. I tend to enjoy more narrative podcasts.
Yeah.
I listen to the New York Times, The Daily, pretty much every day.
Which is great. Yep.
And then I recently started listening to Wall Street Journal Bad Bets. It's the 20th year anniversary of the Enron scandal. So that was what the first season was about. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do next, of course.
I watched a documentary on that when I was all the way back in NBA days. And I was like, this is
the smartest guys in the room?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes, I think so.
I saw that the other day.
It's bad.
I'm going to read the book because that would really interest me. I loved that. I loved Bad Blood by John Kerry. I'm listening to that podcast.
Oh, I was just going to say, are you listening to the podcast by ABC?
No. So the ABC one, that's The Dropout, right?
Yes, that's The Dropout. Following Elizabeth Holmes'
really
trial.
Like it. I'm going to be honest. Yeah.
Oh, I don't love it. I like it, but I don't love it. It's so limiting because of course they can't take the actual audio from the courtroom. That's not allowed. So they have to repackage it, paraphrase. And I'm like, it kind of misses some legs there, I think. But still, man, that story is just so deeply horrible and satisfying in weird ways.
It's wild. It's wild.
The edge of my seat.
Yeah, wow. I could talk about corporate scandals.
Oh my God. There's just no end. There you go. Okay, Emma. Well, what about the future of journalism? Positive, negative, neutral? What would you say?
Neutral, leaning towards positive.
Okay.
I'm going to take the anachronistic positive viewpoint. I think we're going to see a lot more consolidation. I don't think it's good that we are losing so much local journalism because so much of what we end up covering in a national sense comes from the hard work of local journalists. So that's not a good thing. But I do think that there is or have been recently some wonderful publications like Morning Brew or The Information that have been created. I love seeing what the Washington Post is doing on TikTok. I think, when I think about what's going to be going or what will happen in 2022, I think we're going to see some innovation. I think we're going to see some creativity. And those are the things that I have a positive outlook on.
Yeah, that's good. I will say on this show particularly, the local news aspect, no one's solved that yet. Not yet. And it's like, shoot, what are we going to do about that?
Yeah, and I'm seeing a lot of corporate interests around private equity getting into this space. And I would caution against any investor thinking that they could make a newsroom profitable. I don't think that's really its purpose. It's a business and has to be, has to make financial sense, but it's not something where you're going to generate a 10x return.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe even if you're lucky.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we've come to our Mad Lib part, Emma, which is usually very fun and sometimes just silly and sometimes nonsensical, but we'll see. So let me give you the word and I will fill things out and we'll read back our whole paragraph here. How about that?
Sounds good.
Let's do it. First thing, an emotion.
Happiness.
Happiness. An adjective.
Red.
Red. Another adjective.
Round.
Round. Love it with the alliteration. Okay. A greeting.
Aloha.
Aloha. That's fun. A verb.
Swimming.
How about a noun?
House.
An adjective.
Blonde.
Blonde. Perfect. A cringeworthy PR term or phrase.
Surprise and delight, of course.
Oh, yes. Surprise and delight. Oh, God. Maybe I'll just use that somewhere for fun. Okay. A part of a pitch.
Does this interest you?
Does this interest you? Oh, yep. Length of time.
1 hour and 49 minutes.
Okay. We're almost done. Name of a real person, ideally alive.
Barack Obama.
And then an emotion.
Rage.
Rage. All right, Emma, here we go. When I think of the future of journalism, I feel happiness. The pitches I receive have gone from red, as in the color, to round, as in the ball. I put that in there. If I receive a pitch that starts with aloha, I start swimming. When I write stories on houses, I get blonde. My favorite pitches include surprise and delight and does this interest you? I normally take around 1 hour and 45 minutes to respond to my emails, but if it's Barack Obama, I will respond immediately. If you do get a response back from me, you should know that I am raging for you. I like it. How accurate do you feel, Emma? How is that?
I would say that when I respond to an email, it's either immediately or in about a month.
There you go. So we're quite accurate. I love it. Well, Emma Sandler, thank you for being on, senior reporter for Glossy, writing all things on fashion. And Emma, what else would you want to say?
Beck, did I surprise and delight you?
Surprise and delight. Everybody, do not say surprise and delight for the reason you made your customers something. There you go. Straight from Emma. Thank you so much, Emma. Appreciate you being on.
Thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Coffee with a Journalist featuring Emma Sandler from Glossy. If you enjoy listening to our show, make sure to subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and anywhere else you listen to podcasts. And if you have a moment, please leave us a review, share your thoughts about the show and today's guest. To learn more about the latest tools on OnePitch and to subscribe to our weekly podcast newsletter, head to our website at onepitch.co. We'll see you all next week with a brand new guest and even more insights about the journalists you want to learn more about. Until then, start great stories.